you're like me, then that means you've probably tried YouTube before and failed. And that's why I know there's probably only one thing that's keeping you from becoming a better version of yourself that's more disciplined, motivated, and ultimately a better YouTuber. Let me explain. I'm not here to waste your time, and neither is this video a meaningless motivation to just get you boosted right now, and when it actually matters, you're stuck. You don't know what to do, or the entire motivation you've acquired at this point in time while you're watching this video just dies off, and you're right back to where you started all over again. The entire process of creating videos on YouTube, just being a YouTuber on its own, is extremely complex, as we all know, or at least that was what I thought. But at this point, I finally realized that I've had the wrong idea all along. Let me explain. If you ever gave YouTube a chance, created a channel, shot your first video, edited and uploaded it, and then eventually along the lines, life happened, like it always does. Maybe you got busy, maybe you got burnt out, maybe you lost your job. But the problem here isn't just that life isn't fair, and at this point, it's not even about consistency yet, like most YouTubers will tell you. The actual problem here is commitment. And I know that because that was what I faced. Most of us are actually stuck waiting for the perfect opportunity to come. The perfect time when you can buy the most expensive cameras, the most expensive lights for your shoots, and even have the best YouTube studio or the best background behind your video. But the truth here is that that moment will never come. Personally, the one that plagued me the most was the issue about my background setup. I was always like, I wanted a darker background, more lights, okay, the colored RGB lights. I want my background to be, just as cinematic as the other YouTubers' backgrounds that I have come across. And talking about cinematic, one key thing that most of us actually have a problem with is, still on the background. Because we all want our background to have this kind of blurry effect. I'm probably sure you can relate because this battled me for a very, very long time. And that got me uncomfortable. And it made me stuck for years. I couldn't create, or I thought I couldn't create, because I felt like people would not want to watch that kind of video. And that got me to a point where I actually had to move to a different apartment just to get a nicer place to shoot in, against the advice of my girlfriend at the time, because she was against the idea of spending more just for me to get a place to shoot. So was it a wise decision? Maybe, because I do love the ambience here. But then, did I absolutely need to move to this place just for me to shoot? Definitely not. Because at this point, I've spent over a year in this place and I have not released one single video in this apartment. So the problem basically wasn't the place I was shooting at. The problem was my commitment and the fact that I was always waiting for the next best thing, right moment. Eventually, I realized that there was never going to be a perfect moment and the conditions are never going to be exactly as I imagined them to be. So I had to do something. But is there actually a solution to all of this, or are you just going to remain stuck till you eventually get overwhelmed and finally decide to quit YouTube in general? The answer to that question is yes. It all begins with your most valuable asset, your time. Quote me if I'm wrong, but one thing we've all said at one point in time in our creative journey is, I don't have time. Which is something that I definitely said a lot. And now that I think about it, it's quite funny because I had the time to finish an entire series of solo leveling, read the entire manga, and even had time to play video games at some point in time. But when it came to creating videos, writing my scripts, or even shooting, I always didn't have time. While these were fun in the moment, I eventually realized that they were not going to do anything to help my productivity in the long run. So I had to deal with my time management problem. By no means am I an expert on time management, and if you're looking for that, you can definitely find tons of videos on the YouTube platform that will teach you how to manage your time more effectively. But if you are interested in knowing how I tackled my time management personally, that got me to this point where I'm actually shooting this video, I'll tell you anyway. The number one time waster a whole lot of us have is something we take almost everywhere with us every single day. And that is why it is easy for us to fall into the trap of time wastage every now and then. And That is your phone. The fact is, we all have 24 hours in each day, out of which we spend 8 hours every day sleeping. And then the next 8 hours is probably for school or work, depending on what stage in life you're currently at, which leaves only a third of it, the remaining 8 hours, for you to do the basic things, which includes your assignments, your chores, or even grocery shopping. So let's assume you take 3 hours to do all of that, which means you only have 5 hours in the rest of the day for you to actually do something productive. Before now, I would normally spend those 5 hours probably scrolling through my phone, playing video games, or just binge watching things that necessarily do not add anything to my productivity. But when I realized I was spending basically all of my free time on my phone and wasting the time that I could have put into my YouTube channel, creating content, either writing scripts or even something as little as creating a title and thumbnail for my video, I decided to get rid of the problem completely.
Bruh.
Really, nigga?
Anyway, that's not my actual phone. I didn't get rid of my phone per se, but what I actually did was I limited my screen time, reduced it by a whole lot. But if you're like me and you've probably gotten addicted to your phone and everyday scrolling, trust me, the first few days is not going to be easy. I know for a fact it wasn't easy. You find yourself reaching for your phone at intervals throughout the day, trying to either check what's popping online or if you have a new message. But if you can actually find the strength to resist that urge to pick up your phone and actually put in the work, even if it's just one thing daily that improves your growth as a YouTuber, that improves your channel. Maybe the first day you come up with your video idea, the next day you create a click-worthy title and thumbnail, and then the next day maybe you like this video. Is that in the script? Yeah, it is, and it doesn't really take much time to do. Just click on the like button below, and if you're done with that, take your time to write out your video script. Believe me, if you're able to do this religiously for about a week, you're already ahead of 90% of YouTubers who actually fail to put in the work and yet wonder why their videos aren't getting any sort of views. Like I said earlier, I'm by no means an expert in this, but if you're going to take at least one thing from this video, let it be this. Take one step daily towards creating your YouTube videos rather than just dreaming about it.